Earlier this month, the head of the Archdiocese of San Francisco wrote a letter saying pro-abortion politicians who are Catholic should not present themselves for Holy Communion. And now one Catholic lawmaker is responding.
I do think the church needs to stand up against folks who are hypocritically claiming on the one hand to be believing in the Bible and Catholic, but on the other hand are engaging in activities that are directly contrary to serious moral teachings of the Catholic Church.
Representative Alex Mooney is one lawmaker who says that he'd like the discussion to continue in homilies during Mass. Although Archbishop Cordileone never mentioned House Speaker Nancy Pelosi by name, she represents San Francisco, is Catholic, and has voted for pro-abortion legislation. The EWTN News Nightly reached out to Speaker Pelosi for comment. However, we did not receive an answer. Joining us now is Archbishop Salvatore Cordileone, head of the Archdiocese of San Francisco. Your Excellency, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us today. Tell us why you felt compelled to write this letter and what has been the response so far.
I've known for some time I had to speak out on this issue. It's been vexing us for a very long time, and now I'm here in San Francisco. So I needed to find some way to express the teaching on this. So I got the idea to issue this teaching document because I've realized for a long time the problem is too many Catholics don't understand what it means to receive Holy Communion, and we see this in the polls. I mean, the drop in belief in the real presence coincides with the drop of understanding what it means to receive communion. It's not just a matter of table fellowship, which is the Protestant understanding, but it's we unite our sacrifice with that of Christ, and we die with Christ by dying to sin. So receiving communion, one must be in a state of grace, accept the teachings of the church, believe what the church believes, and live it accordingly. If one commits a mortal sin, if one is out of the state of grace, we're blessed with the sacrament of reconciliation, so one can be once again properly disposed. So I had to teach about that. I had to teach about the evil of abortion itself, because there's so much deflection as to what really goes on with that. And they had to teach about how these principles of cooperation as well, and the special role that Catholics in public life have. So I've known for a long time I had to do something. So I was working on this basically all last year on this document.
Yeah, and as we just mentioned, there are some on Capitol Hill who agree with you and really support you on this. Have you heard personally from any lawmakers either in California or Washington?
No, I have not heard from any lawmakers.
Well, I won't be surprised if you do anytime soon, for sure. I know that Bishop Robert McElroy from the Diocese of San Diego has publicly disagreed with your stance. He said in part, quote, communion is being weaponized and deployed as a tool in political warfare. I'd like to get your thoughts on those comments.
First of all, to say this is being done for political motives is to presume to read the minds of those who are taking the stand that it's for a political reason that it's being done. So the same argument could be made in reverse, that those who are opposed to applying the church's discipline are doing so for political motives. In reality, an argument can be made for both that are not politically motivated. I intentionally did not publish this letter until after the election, specifically so that no one would misunderstand it as being a political ploy. And there's also precedent for this. No, we're applying church teaching. And if we look back to the last century, the primary preeminent issue of the day in the mid-20th century was the civil rights movement. And we have a number of examples. The most famous was Archbishop Rummel actually excommunicated 3 Catholics who were prominent in political life in his archdiocese in New Orleans because they opposed his plan to integrate the schools there. So, I mean, and no one accuses him of having weaponized the Eucharist. So it's a matter of applying the church discipline to protect the sacrament, to move people to conversion. I do not have a political motive for doing this. I would rather a pro-abortion politician become a pro-life politician than be replaced by one who is pro-life, because we expand the pool of those who are pro-life in public life. So my purpose is not to sway votes. My purpose is to save souls.
We have probably less than a minute left, and you sort of touched on this before, but I want to bring it up again. What impact, if any, do you think your letter will have, and what impact do you hope it will have?
It seems to be gaining a lot of attention and calling attention to the very serious evil of abortion, that this is not like any other issue. This is the direct killing of innocent human life. So I'm hoping it will ramp up the discussion, bring much more attention to this, and move people who are on the fence or even in favor of abortion, move them down the path of a true wholehearted embrace the goodness of human life at all stages and in all conditions.
Archbishop Salvatore Cordileone from the Archdiocese of San Francisco, thank you so much for your time. God bless you.
Thank you.